In the world of dating and relationships, one thing has become very clear to me, and that is, well, many things have, but one of those things is attraction matters. I'll say it again, attraction matters. Now, I didn't say looks. We're not talking about how someone specifically looks, but attraction. Someone has to be drawn to you. You have to be drawn to them. You have to find them appealing in some way, shape, or form. There has to be a strong enough attraction in order to form a romantic relationship. All right. And a lot of times I see women who get discouraged or who think negatively because in their mind, oh, men are just all caught up on looks. They want a woman that looks this way or that way. And because I don't look like this, I have no hope. And it's like, wait a minute, slow down, because different men like different things. That's number one. But then two, understand that no matter how you look, there are things you can do to become more attractive. All right. And it's not as hard as people think. Okay. Now, of course, depending on if you have certain goals in mind, then they may require more intense measures. But if you just want to make yourself more attractive, and as I mentioned, the title, Irresistible, all right, there's some very simple things you can do, easy ways to accomplish that. So I'm going to lay it out for you because that's what I'm here for. All right. And one of the first things I think a lot of women do not think about for an easy way to become more attractive and irresistible to men is stop stressing so much. All right. Let me say that again. Stop stressing so much. Now, I know that's easier said than done. All right. I know some of y'all are dealing with a lot and you're tired, you're mentally exhausted. And you deal with a lot of maybe negativity and other people's stress and things of that nature. And there's a lot that you have to balance and deal with. I get it. But if you don't learn how to decompress or how to not take in all that negative energy, right? Then what happens is it starts to show up in other ways in you. It starts to show, whether you realize it or not. It may show up in your attitude. It may show up in the energy that you give off. It may show up in your face. There's a lot of people. I can tell you personally, I'm not going to speak for all men, but I've seen women you could tell they're pretty women, but you can see the stress on their face. I've even seen women, younger women, who look like they've already lived 100 lives or something. Like you could just see they've been through so much by the stress on their face, and that stress makes you less attractive. And I don't want to say that in an insulting way, but it's just the reality of it, okay? And so many are not unpacking and releasing a lot of that negative energy, and it's carrying with them, all right? And then again, it's not just carrying on with them in your everyday life, and that has its own negative impact, but then it carries on even when you do meet men. So you may, because understand this, you may be attractive enough to get men and even get men that you like, but if you're not, why not tap into your full potential? You know? And if something like overstressing is happening to you, trust and believe it's going to start to have an impact on your dating experiences, on your relationships, and sometimes it's exactly what throws things off. I remember one time, this is not the greatest stress example, but it is an example of having too much on your plate. So I spoke at an event in Toronto, and a woman came to me and she said, I'm having a hard time with dating. I can't seem to meet men who can fit my lifestyle or who can understand all that I'm dealing with. I'm like, all right, well, what do you have going on? And I can't remember the exact list, but it was like, she's a mother. She had like 2 jobs. She DJs on the side. Like she had all these things. And I said, wait a minute. So how do you expect a man to walk into all that and feel good about the situation when you don't have any time for a man? You don't have any time for yourself. Forget the man. You don't have time for yourself. So on top of very little time to give him, even when you do meet a man and you date him, you're burnt out. or you're carrying all that stress and weight from all these things that you're dealing with. So, all that to say, listen, some of you have to take a step back. This is hitting my spirit, so I'm going to say it. Do not be mad at me because I think some of y'all may take issue with this. But I'm saying this with love, and I'm trying to be as real as possible. I've seen a lot of mothers. This is specifically for the mothers out there, single mothers. I've seen a lot of women who, part of what contributes to their dating struggle is they have their kids, maybe one or more, and they have their kid in all these different activities, all right? Cheerleading or basketball, baseball, all these different things. And she's like, I don't have any time because I have to take them here and I got to take them there. And I'm like, listen, I'm all for the child experiencing different things. But do they have to experience all of it at once? All right? Like, listen, if it's going to be at the expense of your peace, at the expense of you having a more balanced life, at the expense of you being able to meet someone that you can share life with, I'm going to at least encourage you to reconsider. Again, I think, and the crazy thing is I see these parents do this sometimes, and the kid ends up not even always like, I've seen some situations where the kid actually didn't even care about any of it, all right? They were just doing it because the mother wanted them to do it. So it's like, listen, just make sure you're not overdoing it, whether that be with your kids, with yourself, whatever, and you just create some time for you, but also time that a man can actually walk into your life and be able to spend that time with you, all right? But to get back to the original point, lower the stress. So I'm just going to give you some quick things to help you with de-stressing. Of course, I believe healing is the number one thing you should do, right? You need to heal. But be mindful of your home environment. Create an environment that helps bring more peace and less stress to you. So for some of you, that might be investing in getting candles, all right? Some of you may like candles. You may just need to light one, get a nice smelling one that helps calm you down, things of that nature. Prayer and meditation is going to be another thing to add to your lifestyle that can help with de-stressing. Looking into your diet and what you're eating and what things can help you. One herb that comes to mind that might work for some of you is ashwagandha, all right? It helps with calming you down, lowering cortisol, all these things. I'm not a doctor, do your research, but it does work for some people. For some of you, a nice glass of red wine, all right, could be good for you. Don't become an alcoholic, okay? Don't overboard. But a nice one glass, if you can handle it, could be good. There's a lot of things, and I think I'll make a whole separate video on that. But the point is, identify what you can start doing. And in regards to the home environment, whether that even be music, all right? For me, I stretch in the morning and I play this thing called soaking worship music, all right? And this is very like instrumental, calming instrumental, and I use that as I do my stretches and my breath work and all these types of things. That can be great for you. And starting your morning with stretching and breath work can help set the tone for the rest of the day to help allow you to be more calm. So either way, lower the stress level and watch yourself become a more attractive individual. All right, so now here's another easy way to become more attractive and more irresistible to men, and that is don't play hard to get. Now, I know some of y'all may have sucked your teeth, all right, and shook your head, and some of you believe in the whole men need to chase, and you feel like men are just weak today. I've heard it all right? But listen, especially we're talking about grown adults here, nobody wants to be sitting here having to jump through a bunch of unnecessary hoops to get to know you or to be able to proceed in a relationship with you. I'm not saying be easy, so to speak. I'm not saying be a pushover. I'm not saying the man doesn't need to put in an effort, right? I believe in a mutual effort in building a relationship. But what I am saying is do not make things unnecessarily difficult. Because when you do make yourself less attractive. Now, I know there's this idea and perception that no, you become more attractive because men like a challenge and men are hunters and all these things. Listen, one, there is some level of truth to men like a challenge, but it's not in regards to women when they're genuinely trying to pursue her. So I always say, once a man is actually interested, once emotions are actually invested, the man does not want things to be difficult. No man is saying, oh, I hope she makes it hard for me. I've never heard a man who really likes a woman say that, all right? It's only maybe applicable to guys chasing who are looking for just to sleep with you. And it's also in the sense of a lot of men want a woman who can't be had by everybody. But that's not the same as difficult to get her. Let me be more specific, or let me explain that a little bit better. So listen, there's nothing wrong with a woman should have standards. So a woman who has no standards is easily gotten, all right? Any man can come around, do something nice for her, and they get her, all right? Men aren't looking for that. Serious-minded men, they don't want it to be like you're just so easy that any guy could have gotten you, right? However, if he's a guy, he's showing up, he's pursuing you, he doesn't want you making things unnecessarily difficult just to get him. He doesn't want you playing games with him, playing cat and mouse, all these different things. Because what I've always said is, listen, going back to the point of once he actually is serious and genuinely likes you, those moments of you giving resistance can create more doubt and uncertainty, can create insecurities, can create thoughts of, man, maybe she doesn't like me. You know, is she trying to play me? It can do more harm than good. All right. And let me tell you this, I tell the same thing to men in reverse. When men are told all these tips and tricks, I'm like, listen, man, that might work with the casual situation that you're not serious about. But with the girl that you really like and she actually likes you, you will actually sabotage your situation. So you got to be very mindful of that. So no need for the unnecessary stuff. No need for the chasing. It's about, can you both show up for each other and make a mutual effort to build a healthy relationship. All right, so let's keep this thing going. And another one that I have to mention, and you may have heard me talk about it before, an easy way to become more attractive and more irresistible to men is smell good. All right? I say it all the time. Smelling good makes everybody at least a little bit cuter. All right? At least a little bit. It gives a couple points. All right? And what's so unfortunate is, you know, I'm someone who, I do a lot of events. I meet people all the time. And I feel like a lot of people do not utilize the power of smelling good, right? And especially, unfortunately, believe it or not, especially in marriages and long-term relationships, it's like they just don't even care no more. A lot, not all, but many of them. And I have to acknowledge, yes, a lot of men, same issue with them. But back to y'all, back to smelling good. It's powerful. Now, one of the keys is you got to start from within. All right. So I had mentioned in the previous video how, listen, I'm going to be real with y'all. There's been moments where I've met people and they may have smelled a little funky. Now, I don't want anyone who's ever met me to think I'm sorry about you, but I'm just saying, I'm just being real. And I don't take no issue with it because I understand sometimes you may not be aware, you may not understand, but I think a lot of it starts with our diets, all right, and what we're putting in our body. If we want to smell good, slapping on lotion and perfume is cool, but what are you doing for the inside? Now, something that can be very powerful to start taking that can help with that internal self is chlorophyll, all right? Again, not a doctor, do your research, but I've used chlorophyll. It's a very good thing. It's like an internal deodorant, and it has plenty other benefits as well. So I think that's a great place to start, as well as, of course, looking at your diet. Because I'll say this, when we're trying to understand what's best for our diet, it's about learning what our bodies digest better. Because if you cannot digest and break something down well, it will sit in your gut, it will fester, and that's how we start to get bad smells, or one of the ways, I believe, to my understanding, that contributes to that, okay? So learning what digests properly within your body is important. Now, I'm a big believer of eating for your blood type. A lot of people don't care about it or think it's real. To each their own is something to at least look at and consider. but also pay very close attention to when you eat certain things, what causes you to bloat. I remember when I used to get full and bloated, I thought that was just a part of eating. That's what it was, not realizing, no, bloating is a sign that I'm eating something that I'm not properly digesting. All right. And once I removed it, it made things a lot easier. And believe it or not, one of those things for me was bananas. Don't know why. Don't know why. But I can't eat no bananas. All right. But, anyways, so you may be surprised what it might be for you. But if you can, do some research, look into it. So we start with the internal. We look at something like chlorophyll. There's other things I'm sure we can take a look at or research that may help as well. But then, yes, finding scents that work with your body, because it's not simply about, oh, this is the popular smell that everyone's getting. Okay, cool, but just because everybody's getting it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And it's not just about, it's about how well it smells on you and how long it lasts on you. All right. And you want to find the combination of those two things. And I would encourage you to get the opinion of a man when you're testing out different smells. Because yes, I'm not saying the women can't give you a good opinion, but if the idea is to become more attractive and irresistible to men, well, let's see what a man has to say about it. And of course, different men can have different opinions, but I do believe there's a greater chance of hitting over the target if you get the opinion of a man. So, perfumes, lotions. Now, I will just say for me, because I am very much into the holistic way of life, oils are a good thing to also explore. My colognes are oil-based, right? Less chemicals in them. That can be very beneficial. So I want to encourage that, but I know some people may not care and be like, nah, I'll do my perfume or whatever. So that's cool too. But definitely smelling good. And I think, listen, I think you want to have at least one, like something that's your everyday go-to, and maybe that one thing that you wear on your fancy nights out, your dates, whatever. But understand, you don't need a whole plethora of different smells. Like, just find things that work for you and roll with that. I got a cologne that every time I wear it, get compliments. I don't have to wear a bunch of different ones. So anyways, smelling good, very powerful, will definitely make you more attractive. All right, now, before I continue, be sure to go to my shop, StephanSpeakShop.com, where you can get tickets to my next event, as well as my books, my coaching sessions, you name it, it's all there. StephanSpeakShop.com, or click the link in the description or in the comment section, all right? So now the next thing on this list of easy, quick ways to make yourself more attractive and irresistible to men is smiling, okay? Smiling. I only laugh because I know some of y'all hate when men tell y'all that you need to smile, okay? And I don't want you mad at me, but I'm just telling you that is an effective way to make you more attractive. I talk about it all the time in my events. There was a study that shows women are found more attractive when they smile. And it's not just smiling in your everyday life. It's even smiling in your pictures, your profile pictures on social media or on a dating app. These things are going to enhance how people perceive and receive you. And smiling makes you more approachable. Now, I know many of you will say, well, you just don't smile. You don't even realize it. Let me backtrack a little bit. Because I understand for some of you, the concern is, well, if I'm out here smiling, then I'm going to get attention that I don't want to get. All right? And men are going to come to me that I don't want them to come. Now, listen, I'm not saying you have to smile everywhere you go. But I do think that when you are in environments where you do want to be approached, or you see a man that catches your eye, smiling is good. Now, I have to say this too. There's nothing that works that isn't going to have the drawback of bringing some people that you don't want. All right? The more attractive or desirable we become as individuals, the more people in general are going to be drawn to us. My thing is, would you rather be the woman that attracts more men and some more quality, serious-minded men with some garbage left over? Okay, excuse me. Or the woman who doesn't attract anyone at all or just attracts the garbage. You see what I'm saying? Like, at least with the smiling, we can get some good stuff in there too. But with the no smiling, there's a greater chance of, and I'm not saying no woman has never attracted a great man without smiling. I'm just saying it's harder, okay? And yeah, sometimes different factors are going to play that can offset if she's smiling or not. But in general, smiling is going to be very beneficial to you. And I'm not saying walk around like a clown and smile 24/7, but learn how to make it more natural for you. So for those of you who do say, well, it's just, I don't even think about it, I'm just not smiling. Well, I always say if you're not naturally smiling, then that means you're not at peace from within. Because when you're at peace from within, smiling becomes natural to you. All right? Anyone who's having a good day smiles naturally. Anyone who's not stressing about stuff, whether they realize or not, will smile naturally. A lot of times you don't smile because you're constantly thinking, overanalyzing, stressing, processing, and that's robbing you of peace and joy. So if you struggle with smiling, get to the root of the issue and understand what is getting in the way, how we can correct that, and how we can let that smile come out of you a lot more. All right, so another one, and this one I'm not sure how you guys are going to feel about this one, but another quick, easy way to make yourself more attractable and irresistible to men is learn how to speak with a softer tone. All right? Some of y'all speak real rough. Some of y'all are real tough with your voice and how you say things and how you speak to people. And that can be off-putting at times, all right? And I'm not saying you need to, I don't know, like, again, I don't want you to be something that you're not. I don't want you to change your true self, but I want you to understand there's an energy that goes behind the way you speak to someone that can really dictate how they receive you. So like, we always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when we say it's how you say it, it's not just the words you're using, it's your energy and spirit behind it, okay? And that affects your tone because let's face it, if you're angry, if you're irritated, if you're annoyed, your tone's gonna come out different than when you're calm, when you're happy, when you're at peace. It's very different. Now, when you can learn how to tap into that calm, loving, peaceful tone of yours more consistently, you're going to see better results in how people receive you, people's willingness to listen to you, people's willingness to speak to you more, versus when you come off more harsh with that energy of anger or annoyance or frustration or any of those things, okay? And this is really important when it comes to men because, again, I don't think a lot of women misunderstand or lack the understanding of how you speak to a man is such a powerful thing, all right? And men can become very weak to the woman who knows how to speak very sweetly to them. I always use the example of if you ever seen a woman who uses terms of endearment with every man, everybody's honey, sweetie, sweetheart, whatever. I said, pay attention. Do you see her having a hard time getting a man to do her a favor? No, she's going to have somebody painting that house, carrying her groceries, washing that car, taking the car to the mechanic. Whatever she needs done, she's got someone to do it because she knows how to talk to men in a way that gets them to respond well to her, all right? So learning how to speak in that softer tone is going to be very beneficial. Now, again, it's about the root issue. So if you need help tapping into that softer, more loving, more peaceful tone, two things I need you to understand or to do. One, I'm going to always say healing. Healing is a part of it because, again, we got to flush out a lot of that negative energy. But then two, you have to look at speaking in that way as a tool of yours or a weapon of yours rather than a diminishing of self. See, a lot of women are resistant to something like this because they feel like I'm saying, dumb yourself down or make yourself less than. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying here's a method that's going to work better for you. why not do it? You know what I'm saying? Why not learn how to in that moment? It's like, listen, I could be having a bad day, right? I could be angry, resentful, whatever. But if I need to call, I don't know, the bank and get something done, I know how to flip the switch and sound calm, professional, be positive, so that I can, get what I need to get. Or maybe that's not the greatest example, but you get what I'm saying. I know how in a moment to flip the switch to still get what I need to get done, because it's not about dumbing myself down. It's about what's going to get the best results. That's it. That's all it is. It's a tool at your disposal. And when you learn how to embrace it, watch how much it benefits you. All right, so we got a couple more left. And another easy, quick way to make yourself more attractive and irresistible to men. And I know some of y'all can be sensitive about this one, but I gotta keep it real. Don't overdo it with the makeup. All right? So now notice, I didn't say you can't wear makeup. All right? I know some of y'all love your makeup. I get it. I understand. I want you to do what makes you happy. However, I do see a lot of women, might be you, may not, that they go overboard with it. And the reason why the overdoing the makeup can become such a problem is because, one, it actually can create more skepticism and fear in a man. Like, I've seen men who've seen women who at first was like, oh my gosh, okay, she's fine, right? But then when they got a better look, they see, oh man, she got a lot of makeup on. And so even though she looks good to them, it's like, I don't know what I'm actually getting here. I don't know if when that makeup comes off, there's a complete transformation. Listen, we've all seen some of these TikToks and videos online where a woman completely transforms from the makeup, right? And I always say, once upon a time, makeup was more about enhancing your look, but now it's turning into transforming your look. And that transforming has created a lot of fear. And some men have experienced it, where they've talked to a woman, they took a chance, and then at some point the makeup came off and it was not what they thought. Now, here's the other crazy thing though. In some instances, I've seen men, whether they passed up on a woman or dated her, makeup came off, and it was like, yo, she's 10 times better without the makeup. If the makeup wasn't there, this would have been easy to go after right off the bat. So I say all that to say, listen, like, again, just be careful with it, because like I said, it can create skepticism and fear in a lot of men today because they don't know what they're getting at that point. And I also think that for some women, they become very overly reliant on it. Like, again, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it and wanting to implement that into your life. Cool, I get it. But there are some women who feel like it's like they only see themselves as the makeup version and not the non-makeup version. And they don't know how to operate in confidence without the makeup. And I wouldn't want that for any of you, right? So I don't want you to become overly reliant on it either. So just finding, I think, and again, you're going to do what you want to do what makes you happy. But in my opinion, and I think a lot of men will agree, it's just that balance. And again, just finding that way of enhancing the look without transforming it, not overdoing it, will be a great way to go about it. And maybe just testing it out. Now, I will also say this. We have to acknowledge that social media is a very common way that people come across each other nowadays, okay? And I know everyone wants to put their best on social media. But there are, again, situations where if you are a woman, again, you may not care, but if you are a woman that is interested in meeting more guys or having more opportunities to meet men, and you don't mind meeting men through your online profiles, I would encourage having at least one image with very little to no makeup, all right? Again, because there are very many situations where a man sees a woman's profile, but every picture is makeup. Even worse, every picture is makeup and filter. And he just has no idea, and it's hard to make a decision of, all right, do I really want to pursue this or not? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, it'd be helpful to you, I believe, to just have at least one picture, little to no makeup, would be very beneficial. But everyone has to make their own decision. I don't want to take makeup all away from you. I just want to shed some light on this topic. And I do believe for many of you, it will add a boost to your attractiveness. All right, and now last but not least, and this is another one that some may be sensitive to, but I want to always be real. Keep sounding like a broken record. And that is the easy way to become more attractive and irresistible to men is to get in better shape. Okay? Now listen, I acknowledge from the very beginning of this video, different men like different things. And if you are a woman who feels like you are happy with the way you are and you're getting the results that you want, more power to you. But if you're someone that's looking for a boost, looking to improve in certain areas, getting in better shape, and I'm not saying you got to become some supermodel, skinny, whatever. I just said better shape. That's the key word, better, all right? And the reason why getting in better shape is so powerful is not even just the physical aesthetic of it all. It's what it does to you from a biological perspective of you feeling better from now, whether it be working out or eating better, right? Doing these things that are pouring into you, into your body, and feeling better leads to looking better. Looking better also leads to being more positive, or feeling better also leads to being more positive, being more confident. That confidence translates to making you more attractive. Like, it all goes with each other, and it all starts with getting in better shape. Now, I will say this, I found it fascinating. I always say, like, there's a lot of people that might say, oh, it's not necessary, you don't need to do all that. And listen, that's your choice. But you'll have a very hard time finding a woman or a man who's experienced getting in better shape and not having positive results come from that. All right? I'm not saying there may not be any stories of negative things to come, but the majority of people are going to give you positive stories. And there will be a ton of people who will tell you how, like, not only did their dating life change, their life in general and how people treated them changed. Now, we're not getting into the right and wrong of that. I'm just mentioning the reality of it, okay? And so, again, identifying where you can just make some improvements. And for some of you, that can be very beneficial for some of the things that you're dealing with. Like, depending on how old you are, there are people right now who every day they're feeling aches and pains. And they think it's, well, you're just getting older, that's the way it is. It's like, nah, if you actually just got in better shape, strengthened some muscles, maybe dropped a little bit of weight, those aches and pains could go away. You know what I'm saying? And then your quality of life increases. Now, again, you start feeling good. You start being more energetic. That translates to all these other positive things. So overall, it's just extremely beneficial. But, you know, don't run to the extreme. Don't get so obsessed about it that you start to lose yourself in it. Just identify how we can start to make progress and create a lifestyle that allows us to live to our fullest potential. Thank you for watching this video. I pray it was helpful to you. Be sure to watch this one over here on the secret criteria men use to choose a woman. Is, can I bring her around my family and friends? All right. So men